Do you feel lonely at times? Well, researchers in Japan have created a silent, floating robot designed to comfort and cheer you up. The designers were inspired in part by Tinkerbell to help brighten the user's day. The soft, whale-shaped robot glides easily through the air using gentle, flapping fins instead of noisy propellers to get your attention. Its smooth, rhythmic motion allows it to hover naturally indoors for leisurely interaction. Designed for comfort, the robot can perform simple tasks like reminders, acting as a trusted companion, and dance the blues away. The project really brings human-robot interaction to life, focusing on engaging emotional connections. And if you need reliable components for your design, you need to be connected to Mouser Electronics. The IDEC TW Series delivers rugged, versatile 22mm NEMA-style switching for industrial control panels. Built with snap-on 10-amp contact blocks, LED illumination, and corrosion-resistant chrome-plated locking bezel, this module platform covers push buttons, selector switches, stop switches, and pilot lights in one flexible family. Meeting Type 4X and IP65 watertight standards, these push buttons are UL listed and CSA approved. The IDEC TW Series is ideal for manufacturing equipment, packaging machinery, HVAC control panels, and material handling systems, and are available now through Mouser Electronics or by clicking the link below. The right wiring stripping tools and proper technique are essential for preventing damage and ensuring reliable electrical connections. To explain, we present David's Corner.
Hey Andy, I'm sure you're aware of this, but how to use tools is a pretty important concept in all of electronics, including engineering. Here I have a few different varieties of wire strippers, and I'm going to kind of show you how some of those work and some dangers to watch out for. So starting with the simplest, there's a type of wire stripper which is just clips the insulation off of the wire and you manually have to pull it. This one particular can be adjusted to the size of the wire, but there's only one fixed wire diameter. So we insert the wire to strip the proper length, and we pull the end off of it, and we've stripped the wire. Now this is great, except that if we've adjusted it improperly, we may look inside the insulation and see a few strands of copper left over. That would mean that we did not make an effective cut, and we've actually reduced some of the current carrying capability of the wire. That's not good for certification. The next is still a type of wire stripper that we squeeze and just pull the end off of it, but there's several different sizes of wire gauge that we can strip. Similarly, we clip and pull it off the end, but once again, we look at the wire to see if we've made a choice of the correct wire diameter and not left some copper strands behind. Finally, there's a type of wire stripper that I prefer, but it also has the same danger, and this one has a variety of different wire gauge sizes, just like the one that we just looked at. We set the wire with the right strip amount into the wire stripper, and we simply pull the trigger, and it takes the end right off of the wire. Here again, we have to take a look and make sure that we haven't removed any of the copper strands. After we've done the wire stripping, it's a really common practice to place a ferrule over the end of the wire and crimp that ferrule so that the wires can't be bent right at the edge of the insulation. If this happens too much, we will also start losing wire strands because the fatigue stress can start breaking them off. So proper stripping and ferruling practices can help make sure that we're not losing a panel or losing a machine to a simple wiring issue that would have been saved with just a different hand tool and a couple of better ferrules. Always be frustrating when that kind of thing happens. Andy, back to you.
Thank you, David. All right, it's time to adjust your knowledge gains in our SmartFit quiz with our 3 control automation questions. The questions are scored using actuator output percentage, and today we're going to be testing your knowledge on relay modules. Let's begin with our first question worth 25%. A low-power device triggers a massive system, leaving nearby robots impressed. What is the primary role of a relay module in control systems? Is it A, electrically isolate and switch high-power circuits using a low-power control signal, or B, continuously regulate voltage levels in analog circuits? And the answer is A, electrically isolate and switch high-power circuits using a low-power control signal. Relay modules allow low-voltage controllers like PLCs or microcontrollers to safely switch higher voltage current loads with electrical isolation. Okay, let's move on to our next question worth 25%. A clunky relay moves parts back and forth, while a sleek solid-state one switches with pure electronics. What distinguishes an electromechanical relay from a solid-state relay? Is it A, electromechanical relays use semiconductor switching elements only, or B, electromechanical relays use physical contacts actuated by a coil? And the answer is B, electromechanical relays use physical contacts actuated by a coil. Traditional relays use a magnetic coil to move contacts, while SSRs rely on semiconductor devices like triacs or MOSFETs. Okay, let's move on to our final question worth 50%. A tiny circuit flips a huge high-voltage machine, nervously wearing safety goggles. Why is electrical isolation important in relay modules? Is it A, it prevents direct electrical connection between control and load circuits, or B, it increases switching speed of the relay contacts? And the answer is A, it prevents direct electrical connection between control and load circuits. Isolation protects sensitive control electronics from voltage spikes, noise, and faults in the load circuit. Want to try again? Just click the link on your screen and be sure to check out our other Automator's Edge videos for the latest in control automation.